Hello again, Michael Friedberg here from beautiful North Carolina, and today I have just a single product for review. It is a shaving soap from Southern Witchcrafts, and this is the Nekromantik. There are two, there's the Pomona and the Nekromantik. I only have small sample sizes, so I can't show you what it looks like in the full container, but this is the soap that I've pressed into my alternative loading bowl, and I'll explain why I'm using this bowl in just a moment. The soap is definitely very soft. It's dried out a bit, obviously. It's been left uncovered for a couple days, but it's generally a very soft soap. And both of these soaps really do smell very good. So the Nekromantik is, I believe it's a combination of wisteria, rose, and honey, and I can definitely smell those three in there. And then I think the next three ingredients are red wine, dirt, and ozone. And there is sort of an undertone of the dirt, the ozone maybe, but for me, I don't really pick up the red wine, but I definitely pick up those first three ingredients. And for those of us that live in the South where the wisteria blooms, well, that's a very recognizable and just a beautiful, lovely scent. It is, generally speaking, a relatively simple soap. It is not a, full of all kinds of butters and oils. Start lathering up in just a moment. Today's brush is going to be the 2014 Big Shave Limited Edition with this is the 3-band Badger Knot. Badger Knot, of course, doesn't need to be soaked. I'm just going to wet it through before I start using it. Today's razor is the Fatip Grande, the open comb version. I made a mistake when I bought this. I really should have purchased the Piccolo, because then I could have actually had the two handle versions that Fatip sells, and I could have tried them both, could have swapped them between this handle style, which would come with the Tassina Gentile. I could have swapped that between these two, but mistakes were made. What am I going to do? That has in it on its second use, a beautiful Gillette Silver Blue. I've been shaving with this razor and the blade, not that blade, but a previous Silver Blue all week. But the first day shave, I had not shaved for 5 days, which hasn't happened in a long time. And while that razor did just tear through that beard, no issues, that blade, of course, doesn't really have the same longevity. So let me just wet my face. Let's start lathering up the soap. Yeah, there we go. Generally speaking, the soap has actually been very easy to work with. I used almost the entire sample of the Pomona, and this is the remainder of the sample of the Nekromantik. I've moved this from the Captain's Choice loading bowl simply because the soap is quite soft. And when it was pressed into the bowl, and there was really only a little bit left, it was quite hard to load. So I've just switched over to the bowl from the E. Coloniale, the mango shaving soap, which I think sadly is no longer being produced. So I'm being quite careful with this terracotta container. Very dry brush, and it's just going to start loading up. If you put too much pressure on the soap, you start pulling pieces off. So just sort of light pressure as you're building it, and then just keep adding some drips of water. You can see definitely still a little bit dry in there, but starting to get a pretty good load on the brush. The first 2 times I used it, I think I underloaded, in part because it's a small sample and you always get fooled by what you think is not that much soap in a sample container. It's usually more than you might think. You can hear it now getting a little more pasty. I'm going to add just a little more water. If need be, of course, we'll just load some more, but it's nice to get that first load really going. Yeah, you can see now it's happy. Got a nice, very kind of slick, shiny look to it. All right, there we go. I'm just drip a bit of water on the face of the brush. A little wetter now. Wet my face again, and we'll start lathering up. When I said simple soap, I don't mean that in any way as a negative. It is, in fact, in some ways quite refreshing to have a soap that isn't completely jam-packed with the gills with all kinds of stuff. Just a simple, straightforward shaving soap that just does the job. Smells good. Scent strength is, I would say, sort of mid-strong, definitely there. Not overwhelming. And even though it is a set of sort of sweeter or floral scents, it is not perfumey or overwhelming in that sort of too strong or too heady way. a really, really nice mix, which may be because of the other ingredients there, the red wine and the dirt and the ozone, maybe offset the floral nature of the first three ingredients, or the first three scents. Lather on the soap has been a little bit thinner than some of the ones I've used in the last little while, but I think that's in part just because it isn't one of these sort of super fatty tallow, lanolin, and who knows what else. A simple, straightforward vegan recipe. I don't know that this is sort of widely available. I was offered this for review by another person on Reddit who also makes shaving brushes, and I think trying to branch out into the shaving soaps. I think to date there's only these two scents, the Pomoto, which is kind of a sweet, spiced apple scent. Also a very nice scent, really well done for the, I think if you sort of like the tie scents to the season, kind of an autumn or fall scent, that Pomoto is spot on. Okay, rinse the razor off. There we go, the Fatip Grande. This is, of course, this is the new version. This is not nearly as aggressive as the original. But I will say that first shave back after our trip to Toronto was really not a struggle. Razor really doesn't feel aggressive in use, even though it is, it is actually a bit on the aggressive side. It's another instance where I think it's just better to describe it as both comfortable and efficient. But because of the blade angle, the way the blade is held in there, you do need to watch out in certain moments. There is a tiny bit of overhang. That's not really so much the problem. It's more when you put the razor on your face. There are places where you just need to be careful about how you do that. This and the Testina Gentile, both, I just find them very easy razors to use. And if I were to do like a top 5 razors of 2017, this would have to figure pretty high on there. Maybe in the category of biggest surprise. Maybe have a category like, why didn't I buy this sooner? Soap is really nice and slick, by the way, and holds together very well. No dissipation, no falling apart. Like with all soaps, you just want to make sure you're using enough of it. Yeah, just a lovely razor. Just, I don't know why. I guess because the initial razor, the first version of that head, was so aggressive, I was a little bit nervous about going for it. But the fact is that this revised version is very easy to use. Okay, I'm just pulling some of the lather off the bottom of the nut. We'll get lathered up for the across the grain. Pass number 2. Now the razor is really efficient, so you just have to watch the pressure, and especially, at least for me, the raspier it sounds, the more likely I am to sort of try to compensate unconsciously with some pressure. So just one of those razors, just remind yourself, light on the pressure. Just let it glide over the skin, which in this case is easy to do because the soap, which I think does include silk, by the way, as one of the ingredients, nice and slick. And I think it also includes kaolin clay, if I'm not mistaken. Just a nice, simple, slick soap. Nothing crazy about it. And I mean that in a good way. All right, across the grain. Yeah, it's sad but true. Starting to see a little bit of slightly looser skin on my face. And so there are some parts where you just need to really watch, because if the skin is loose or it folds easily and you tend to catch it, you're going to end up with some cuts there. The ravages of age. Okay. Yeah, good slickness on the soap. There we go. Yeah, nice thin layer of slickness. Soap is really, performing very well. It's generally right about here where I can definitely tell when a blade is starting to go. Thursday morning shave, 100% that blade was done. Okay, that is across the grain. Final pass. Let's see how much soap is still in that brush, and if I need to load a little bit more, then I will do so. Let me just drip a bit of water in there. Make sure it is well hydrated while I try to ignore the water running down my arm. Yeah, of the 2 scents, I have to say I definitely prefer this one. I like the apple one, but this one I think is just a better one for me. Smell of wisteria is just a very familiar, lovely, lovely scent. I believe they're located in Georgia, where I'm sure, like here in North Carolina, wisteria grows wild. All right, the across the grain. Now here, just really got to pay attention, just nice and light. Very, very nice combination. The soap, razor, and the blade. Really good shaves all week. And as I say in a lot of these videos, I really hope that you are all getting the same satisfaction out of your shaves as I am. And if you're not, and you're struggling with the product, or something just isn't clicking, and you're struggling to make something work, well, depending on the options you have, and I realize that it's not always possible to do, but where it is, switch it up. Even on a tight budget, there are still plenty of options, and there's really no reason to struggle with a product that doesn't work. Watching my dear friend in Italy struggle with the Williams mug soap. If that's you, drop it in the garbage and move on. I know Williams has its defenders, and the vintage Williams is fantastic. But with the number of great soaps that are out there, and a lot of those are value soaps as well, don't bother. Beautiful. All right. Let's rinse and see. Maybe. Yeah, just a touch of a cleanup right here. Overdoing it. Stop right there. All right. Rinse off, and we'll talk about the post-shave in just a moment. Soap rinses off pretty cleanly. Not a real struggle to get it off. All right. Yeah, nice. Very nice. All right. Let's go ahead and, towel off. All right, now post-shave. Post-shave is pretty good. My skin doesn't feel dry. It feels a little tight, but that is in part because right now my skin overall is just dry and really needs all the help it can get. So what I've been doing this week is moisturizing throughout rather than using an aftershave. I actually managed to finish the Captain's Choice Sandalwood Aftershave Balm that I had. And I was quite surprised because in fact sandalwood is really not my preferred scent. But you know what? That sandalwood is really nice, and the Aftershave Balm is really quite good. I was using it sometimes in the evenings as well. So I decided I'll just use a couple sort of bits and bobs of the aftershaves that I have. And so I started this one yesterday. This is the Fitjar, and it's called the Folgefonn Aftershave Moisturizer. I'm going to read you the description. The tingling feel of the icy cold wind from a glacier on a still morning. And sort of overcome by the sheer poetry of this description, I uncapped it, put some on my hand while thinking about the tingling feel of the icy cold wind from a glacier on a still morning. Just try to capture that image in your mind. Like, wow, that just sounds like wow, fantastic. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's going to be mentholated. That's why they describe it as icy cold. Well, in my mind, what I was still thinking about was that glacier and the still morning. So yesterday when I put this on, completely out of the blue, suddenly realized, ooh, yeah, okay, that's actually mentholated. Very nice, actually. Soaks in quite quickly. It is definitely a thick aftershave balm. It's not like a runny milk. I'm going to put on a little bit more. Yeah, nice, very nice cooling effect. Really like how this stuff goes in. It's a little bit thicker, and it feels a little bit waxy, maybe. But it feels very good on the skin. There we go. On my aged and slightly wrinkled skin. I know, you can say it. All right, let me just rinse my hands briefly. This is one of the aftershave balms where, I don't know about you, but there's a certain feel to them on your hands after you put them on. I always rinse my hands afterwards. It's like the balm just doesn't soak in properly to the skin on your hands. It's like just a little bit denser, maybe. I don't know. But I don't like that feeling on my hands, so after I've applied it, I rinse my hands, and then all good. Okay, man, easy clean shave. Okay, well, let's start from the top again. This may have soaked through a little bit. Oh well. Dude, look how cool that turned out. That's totally accidental. Man, that's actually really, really nice. So this is the Southern Witchcrafts, the Nekromantik version of their soap. The other scent is the Pomona. This is the wisteria, rose, and honey. A beautiful, sweet scent, somewhat muted and controlled by the other ingredients, which are the dirt, ozone, and the red wine. A very nice, simple vegan soap. Does the trick. I believe it does include kaolin clay, and it does include silk. Easy to work with, easy to lather, very soft, at least in the containers that I had. I only had the small sample sizes, so just bear that in mind. Definitely a soap I would go back to. Just the scents, there's only two. I think this is very early on in this artisan soap maker's career, so who knows where the scents are going to go, but definitely something to keep an eye out for. Today's razor is the Fatip Grande, the open comb version with the Gillette Silver Blue blade. Just what a wonderful, easy razor. I know this is definitely more on the aggressive side, not quite as comfortable as the Testina Gentile, but still a very easy razor to use. And if you like the Testina Gentile, you need something a little up on the scale, or maybe you're shaving every couple days and you've got a bit of a denser beard growth, something like this I think would be a very good option. It is like the other razor, of course, an all brass razor. This is the I think just the straight chromed version without the finish. I think this is going to hold its looks much better than the gunmetal finish that I got for the Testina Gentile. The brush, see if I can get the logo on there upright. There you go, from the Big Shave. Custom brush from 2014. Jason and Martin did a great job on getting these put together. Wonderful knot, really easy to use, and very, very glad I was able to snag one of those. Oh, and let's not forget, let's close it off with the brisk breeze coming off the glacier on a still morning. The Fitjar Folgefonn Aftershave Moisturizer. A little bit thick, slightly waxy, nicely mentholated, in kind of an unexpected way. Ooh, wow, that is a beautiful close shave, man. Very, very happy with the results there. All right, well, let's close it out right there. I think that's it for today. Let me just say, as always, thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate the time you're taking, and I really appreciate the comments and questions. You can, of course, leave those against this video or any previous video. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, goodbye.